Good morning from the General Directorate of Climate Change of the Government of Aragon, together with the International Association of HCAs and Pesticides and the Environmental Management Aragon company. We want to welcome you to the 14th International Forum on SCH and Pesticides. It is a meeting of experts of all the world, or from all the world, for HCH and organic persistent compounds or persistent organic compounds, POPs, to present all the results and the efforts to end with these toxics. The region is a reference in Europe in terms of decontamination for the linden because of the transparency policy, the actions carried out, and in this forum, close to 300 people are going to coming from 44 countries with 14 different theme blocks, paying a special attention to the elimination of linden waste. And we are going to give the floor to Mr. Carlos Gamarra, who is working in the Environment Department of the Government of Aragon. Good morning. It is a pleasure for me to participate in the opening of the 14th International Forum of HCAs and Pesticides that today and until the 24th is going to count with the presence of 300 people, scientists, experts from 44 countries of all the world. This is a forum framed within the live surfing project. The Government of Aragon, the IPA, the International HCH and Pesticides Association, SARGA, the Aragon Association of Environmental Management, the Complutense University in Madrid, and the Stuttgart University are part of. This is a study where an important part is devoted to contamination and decontamination of the waste produced by the production of linden, which is a pesticide with a very high contaminant power, and the manufacturing of which in the EU has been eliminated many years ago already. In Aragon, the Inquinosa factory, located in Sabiñánigo, produced linden from 1975 to 1989. Inquinosa closed in 1994, and Aragon had to assume as a subsidiary party the contamination produced. I would like to thank here for the efforts of some anonymous persons who denounce or claim for the practices, the contaminant practices of this company when the legislation was very weak in terms of the contamination because of the lack of knowledge of the power by linden of contaminating and the environment, and also because it was more important at that time to create job positions or jobs. It was very, very expensive for Aragon. After the closing up of the factory, there was a very complex era when we had to face something, the dimension and consequences of which were unknown. It was the first years of control and decontamination. After that era, we progressed, and thanks to an important effort by the government of Aragon in the latest years, our community, Aragon, has positioned itself as an international benchmark or reference in research, decontamination of linden, as well as in dissemination activities. It is not by chance that this forum is organized here, because Aragon has promoted a first network of regions affected by the linden contamination through the European Lindanet project. It has also participated through SARGA in the HCH project in Europe in order to locate contaminated sites. In Aragon, we have a specific unit exclusively devoted to the controlled research and decontamination of this pesticide. There's more than 40 people per day working on linden management, taking into account the civil servants of the government of Aragon and the people working in the public company SARGA and the professionals that work in some of the companies that are a part of the hydrogeological follow-up of some of the affected sites in Sabiñánigo. We have a strategic integral plan. We have protocolized safety measures, and we work in coordination with other agents such as the Aragon River Water Authority and the Aragon Water Institute. The government of Aragon has been a pioneer in applying certain work practices that have been exported to other Spanish regions affected by the linden contamination and other countries in Europe, such as transparency practices like the accountability to the social institutional committees and as well as the scientific committee. We have a specific group devoted to linden and a website devoted to linden where you can see all the progresses on the decontamination of this toxic substance in Aragon, where there is a daily analysis of waters respect to the HCH levels and thresholds. For 2023, we are still making a very important effort. We have budgeted more than 600,000 euros. And in the from our environmental and climate change department, we also have European funding through RDF fund. And the previous year, we received €1 million, and this year we're going to fight for more funding. And we are advancing. This year, we are going to request the first phase of the decommissioning of the first Inquinosa manufacturing plant, because precisely this will be useful for the logistics tasks that we're going to conduct or carry out during the decommissioning. Still, there is much room for improvement. We can be proud of the Aragon roadmap here, but we still have to work a lot because this is very, very extended. This contamination has been very extended. We need more. We are advancing, but we need more and more. Facing this problem is really costly and expensive. This is the highest contaminant power product that is known so far. And this is why it is of utmost importance that all the European countries request for a specific line of funding to be able to face with more diligence and more effectiveness the problems that we have, the different regions affected by this contamination, linden contamination. I apologize to those people that do not belong to EU countries, but for us, the state members, this is a fundamental issue. In fact, if there is a specific line of funding, and we expect there will be, we have contacts with MPs, and other countries are also working alongside these lines. If, as I say, if we get or succeed in achieving this line of budget or line of funding, then we would be surely working much more, and we would decontaminate the area totally. We have exceeded, or we have finished the control phase, but we need much more funding to progress. We are a modest region, and we are making important efforts, and the help and the support by the EU is absolutely critical. I would like to thank all the professionals of the different companies of SARGA, the government of Aragon, with Elena Cano at the head of it, the chief of service. I would like to thank them for their involvement and their hard work. These professionals are really committed. I would like to thank SARGA, the HCH Pesticides Association, that together with the government of Aragon, are the organizers of this event. And I am wishing that this forum will be a constructive one, a fruitful one. We will create a larger coordination network than the one existing. I would like to encourage all of you working everywhere in the world to fight against the effects of HCH and pesticides contamination. So courage, persistence, and so that from every one of the countries and every one of the administrations, this such complex, expensive, and costly and difficult to solve question is really well known, and all of you are aware of the problems entailed by this contamination. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your intervention. Now we give the floor to Isabel García Muñoz, who is the MP of the Socialists and Democrats party in Aragon, in Brussels, sorry. She is going to present a video. Good morning, everyone. I'm Isabel García Muñoz, member of the European Parliament, and it is a pleasure for me to be present, even if remotely, in the opening session of the 14th International HCH and Pesticides Forum. Thanks to the organization for having invited me. Let me start by greeting the President of the Aragon region, Mr. Javier Lamban, and the General Manager of Climate Change and Environmental Education, Mr. Carlos Gamarra, as well as the rest of authorities and participants in this event. Linden, or HCH production waste management, is a very serious food safety, environmental, and health problem. This is why the EU decided to ban it in 2020. Thanks to the European project called Linden in the EU, co-led by SARGA, and the closing session of which I had the honor to sponsor in Brussels in 2021, we know that between 1945 and 2000, up to 600,000 tons of linden were produced in the world, which represents more than 4.8 million tons of HCH waste that are still largely present in the world. As an MP from Aragon, I'd like to emphasize the Europeanist commitment by the government of Aragon to find a solution for the linden problem. This commitment has been materialized in its leadership in European level projects. The Linden project, funded by the Interreg program, has enabled the creation of an experience exchange network among public entities from different regions of Europe. Secondly, the pilot project to evaluate and tackle the presence of linden in the EU, endorsed by the European Parliament in 2 consecutive calls, has rendered it possible to have a solutions map as well as good practices and remedies for the decontamination of the soils affected by linden. And finally, 2 projects funded by the LIFE and its continuation, the life surfing programs, which implement a viable soil decontamination practice. The EU is very much aware of this problem, and this is why it has implemented various political and legislative initiatives in which the European Parliament is very much involved as a co-legislator. The biodiversity strategy, which intends to reduce at least 50% of the most harmful pesticides. The Zero Contamination Action Plan, gathering a battery of actions towards the decontamination of our soil, our water, and our air. Or the new legislative proposal on restoration of nature, which involves the goal of restoring areas of the Natura 2000 network, as well as 25,000 kilometers of rivers by 2030. This can mean an opportunity for linden-contaminated rivers. My group of Socialists and Democrats in the European Parliament has requested the Commission to present a legislative proposal on the protection and sustainable soil use, which is to see the light in June, and we expect it to contain a soil decontamination goal too. In terms of funding for decontamination purposes, I'd like to mention that we have the LIFE Environmental Program. We also have the R+D Horizon Europe program, where a mission focused on soils has been launched. With this initiative, R plus D plus I, different projects will be funded in such areas as sustainable agriculture, biodiversity, or zero pollution, with the goal of protecting and restoring soils in Europe. It is worth mentioning that the recovery and resilience mechanism under the Next Generation EU program is another funding possibility yet to explore. By way of conclusion, I'd like to underline the fact that the lindane problem needs coordinated solutions at all levels, since it involves different sectors like the environmental, agricultural, health, or science sectors. This is why initiatives such as this forum offer a great opportunity to exchange knowledge and good practices, to establish ties, and to coordinate actions. I wish all participants very fruitful sessions crowned by the Bailin site visit to better know the linden problem on site and to be informed about the progresses carried out by our region. And I hope that the necessary institutional cooperation will continue existing to fully eliminate the problem. Best wishes from Brussels. Now we will hear Sagrario Pérez Castellanos, General Director of the of Quality of the Xunta de Galicia, who is an example of commitment in the presence, in the case of lindane presence. She will present a video as well. Good morning from Galicia. First of all, we would like to congratulate the government of Aragon on its enormous commitment to the problem of lindane, a commitment that comes from the past and which I am sure will be extended in the future to the same level or even more intensely. Secondly, because of the possibility for all of us to meet again, to share our problems, exchange views, and propose new solutions to a problem such as lindane that is common to all of us through this forum that begins today and will run for the next 3 days. And thirdly, for giving me the opportunity to address all of you on this first day. For Galicia, participating in a project like the Lindanet project has certainly had a very positive effect. We can say that there is a before and after the project. In Galicia, we were used to facing the problem with our own resources, very limited resources, I have to say, which have been used for more than 2 decades. And we are at a point where we still have much to do. It is therefore very important for us to see that there are other regions in Europe, other citizens in Europe who are suffering the impact of the same problem. And that encourages us to keep fighting, to try to solve it. Politics often tends to look for short-term solutions, the short-term of the periods between elections. However, lindane is not a problem that can be solved in the short term. We don't even have the solution. It's not just a money problem, it's a problem of will. It's a problem of pooling all the efforts of those of us in the same situation to effectively mobilize funds, but also to mobilize solutions and wills. Thanks to the international partnership, we have been able to share common experiences over the years. We have seen that we are facing similar problems, and we have also been able to verify that some of us have a particular idiosyncrasy that adds up one more variable of complexity to the problem. The point that I would like to make to you today is that we must continue. Right now, we have the opportunity because the European Union, which we have all given ourselves, is thinking long term. We are talking about horizons that reach 2030 and 2050, and we're talking about problems that affect the entire ecosystem, including soil. The Healthy Soil Strategy is an opportunity for this problem to reach a more than acceptable level of resolution. We cannot talk about healthy soil by 2050 if we are not solving the problems of contaminated soils, those we call the issue of orphan pollution. Already the term itself gives us an idea of the dimension of the problem. And for this, it is necessary that the regions that face this problem in our territories, supported by our member states, of course, continue to work together, continue to seek solutions together, and continue to build up a critical mass that can be heard in the European institutions, in the Commission, in the Parliament, and of course, in our member states. So my message is, let's continue together. Let's make our regions stay together, because together we will make the necessary funds and the necessary technologies to solve the problem become a reality. Thank you very much and enjoy the conference. We are going to continue the German MP, Karolin Bergensburg, and it is a different region. The intervention is going to be given in a video.
Herzlichen Dank für die Möglichkeit, im Rahmen des 14. HCH und Pestizidforums zu Ihnen zu sprechen. Sachsen-Anhalt ist geprägt von einer langen und erfolgreichen Geschichte der Chemieindustrie. Das Chemiedreieck um die Orte Buna, Leuna sowie Bitterfeld und Wolfen, aus denen auch ich stamme, ist weit über die Grenzen Sachsen-Anhalts hinaus bekannt. Doch das Erbe der Chemieproduktion hat bis heute Auswirkungen auf uns Menschen und auf unsere Umwelt. Ein Beispiel sind die Benzolhexachloridbelastungen aus der historischen Lindanproduktion. Im ehemaligen Chemiekombinat Bitterfeld wurden von 1951 bis 1982 jährlich zwischen 200 und 650 Tonnen Lindan produziert. Dabei fielen mindestens 70.000 Tonnen Abfall an, der größtenteils in ehemaligen Tagebaurestlöchern verkippt und über das Abwasser in die Vorflut eingeleitet wurde. In den vergangenen Jahrzehnten erfolgte mit großem Engagement und hohen Kosten die weitgehende Sanierung von Altstandorten und kontaminierten Böden. Hier danke ich ausdrücklich der Landesanstalt für Altlastenfreistellung des Landes Sachsen-Anhalt, also auch Ihnen, um Geschäftsführer Jürgen Stadelmann. Mit Einführung der EU-Wasserrahmenrichtlinie hat ein Perspektivwechsel in der Bewertung von Gewässern stattgefunden. Die Untersuchungen zeigen zudem, dass schadstoffbelastete Auenflächen eine erhebliche Schadstofffracht beitragen und so Auswirkungen auf den chemischen und ökologischen Zustand der Gewässer haben. Die HCH-Problematik an der Mulde zwischen Bitterfeld und Dessau-Roßlau steht dabei exemplarisch für den Einfluss, den diese Schadstoffe haben. Und das beeinflusst nicht nur die Revitalisierung von Industriebrachen, sondern auch die Qualität unserer Gewässer sowie angrenzender Nutz- und Auenflächen. Deshalb hat sich das Land Sachsen-Anhalt dann an den EU-Projekten Lindernet sowie HCH in EU beteiligt. Im Rahmen dieser Zusammenarbeit hat sich gezeigt, dass die Mulde kein Einzelfall ist. Vielmehr sind Auen in etlichen Regionen Europas und darüber hinaus belastet. Der Austausch mit den internationalen Partnern aus Spanien, Polen, Tschechien und Italien hat wertvolle Denkanstöße geliefert, erste Projekte generiert und internationale Kooperationen gefördert. Diese Erfolge können jedoch nur der Anfang sein. Lindernet und HCH in EU haben ein Momentum kreiert, welches genutzt werden muss, um weitere europäische Projekte anzuschieben und Maßnahmen in den Regionen umzusetzen. Die Regionen werden diese Aufgaben alleine nicht bewältigen können und sind deshalb auf den fachlichen Austausch und daraus entstehende Lösungsstrategien angewiesen. Ich hoffe, dass gemeinsam Lösungen gefunden werden. Gern stehe ich Ihnen auch dafür weiterhin als Ansprechpartnerin im Europäischen Parlament zur Verfügung. Vielen Dank an Sie, an Ihre Arbeit, Ihre Karolin Braunsberger-Reinhold.
Dear Managing Director of the Government of Aragon, Director of IPA, members of the courts, to talk after these important people who have conveyed important messages may be repetitive, but I think it is important to reinforce these messages in line. Please allow me, first of all, to thank all the attendees and all the sponsors that allowed this event to be possible. Also, thank you to the members of the government of Aragon and SARGA, who have so hardly worked for so many days so that this looks even a simple act or event. From SARGA, as you know, and it's been said, we've been working over 20 years working under the direction of the government of Aragon in the study and monitoring of the problem of the lindane production, particularly centering around monitoring and control and decontamination of wastes of the production of lindane coming from the already dismantled Encinosa factory. We have researched, implemented decontamination techniques that allowed us to reach the goal of elimination of wastes, always based on two basic values: transparency and rigor of each of the actions. Here, as could not be otherwise, the importance of the engagement of all the team that works on this on the different sites. Otherwise, it could have been impossible. SARGA is a part of that, as a part of the government of Aragon. Also, managing director mentioned the fruit of this work is this live surfing project financed or funded by the European Union and coordinated by the government of Aragon. And we, SARGA, work as associates together with the IHPA, Complutense University in Madrid, and the Stuttgart University. The main objective is to work on the baleen area, or the process of decontamination, as we reach different hallmarks and goals, in the end requires new techniques, in the end allow us to improve our task and to improve the situation of the environment. As mentioned before, we have worked in other European research studies, like the live study that ended up with the 13th Forum in November 2015, where also Aragon was a host. Also, we were part of the HCH consortium as associate of this pilot project to evaluate and localize sites that may be potentially affected by HCH in the member states of the European Union, and also in the Lindanet project focused on trying to find solutions to this issue. It is in our culture to promote, to work on a sustainable development. We want to respect and protect environmental needs and social needs demanded by a society that is always progressing, and we need to correct errors of the past that have harmed our environment and are a hazard to the environment and our health. This is a global issue. That's why we're here. We need to tackle it together. That is why this forum is so important. It gives us to show all the achievements so far within the live surfing study and also in the other projects. We hope this will be an example, an incentive to other sites that could be benefited from that, from all that we've learned so far. But in time, we hope to incorporate new action plans, lines, implementing improvements. Likewise, I hope this reinforces all the collaboration networks, of which this event is an example, to improve the current decontamination techniques and research lines, reducing timeframes and learning curves. The government of Aragon has been working really hard, politically, humanly, economically, when tackling this inherited issue. We are a reference in Europe in commitment, proactivity, and logically, SARGA is in line with that. In this forum, we hope you will get to know all the different action lines where we've been working on. Please allow me to presume or to talk about the team. We have a multidisciplinary 23-person team working on water depuration and decontamination of runoffs like CB8 and HCH, with over 50 on decontamination. We've been carrying out different matrices, laboratory analyses, over 6,000 samples examined last year, both in water, soil, and air. We also worked in different research studies with field tests. All of this logically means a considerable investment that we need to have over time. We cannot afford to lose it. We need an important financial commitment, because otherwise we won't be able to afford it. That's why we're here to foster these supranational support. The benefits of these sorts of investment mean direct improvement of people and the environment, with a huge profitable economic benefit. It is our obligation, our duty, and should be one of the goals of this forum. We need to raise awareness on the importance of investing in these sorts of projects and to disseminate all the benefits. This will be the correct way to go, where we will be able to show the way how we are progressing as a civilized society. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Maria Victoria. Last but not least, John Vijgen, Director of the International ACH and Pesticides, with a politic of committed people wanting to give attention to the importance of these contaminations. It started 31 years ago.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, well, how should I be starting? First, I have to tell you all, Aragon, what did you do to us? Look, this palace here, this place, this paradise. It's fantastic. What do we want more? All the dirt and all the beauty here. So thank you, Aragon. Thank you all the donors, sponsors, to come here together and work together in all ways, the old stuff, the new stuff, the PFOS in the future, and our Lindane problems. So I would like to give you a kind of small overview, what we've been doing. And of course, I have to say, SARGA, the government, all this work and preparation, all this stress, it's coming out in the next days, but you did a great, great job. And Katja too, everybody. Now I like to fly a bit around here. A small welcome. This is the girl from Georgia living on the pesticides. And if we carry on, what are we doing? What have we been doing? We have been concentrating as International HCH and Pesticide Association on two issues. The Lindane legacy, the white stuff, millions and tons all around, what nobody wants to see. And then the kids in Central Eastern Asia, lying, playing, living on that stuff. That's a task for a generation, but we have to deal with it. No, come. This is the roadmap. Look now. We started in the Netherlands, 91. We talked about HCH in Lindane. Went to Magdeburg, Saxony-Anhalt. You saw the lady from Saxony-Anhalt here. They had even more stuff, problems. We went to Bilbao, Basque Country, full with HCH in Lindane. Suffering, everybody, and wanted to help. Then we went to Poland, and the Polish people said, HCH, Lindane, yeah, we have one site there. But we have much more obsolete pesticides. The whole country is messed up with the stuff. So we said, oh no. So we looked at this issue. Then we went back to Bilbao. There the people said in Bilbao, we have done our job. We have cleaned our country. We've done it. We're the first one. And they showed us, beautiful forum. And then Moldova came. Moldova, the poorest country in Europe. They were #1. They went to the front, moved forward and said, these are our problems. And this is what we've been doing. We have been cleaning up. Who said, I'm too fast? What do you mean? Poznan, yeah, okay, I missed Poznan, okay. We went to Sofia with all their obsolete pesticides. We went to Kiev, now you know Ukraine, thousands and thousands of tons of obsolete pesticides. And we are the other way around, sorry. Yeah. Yes, I see that, okay. And finally we went to Brno in Czech Republic. We went to Azerbaijan. And Azerbaijan, they started to collect all the pesticides, and the minister said, in a decade or 10 or 15 years, we will clean up our country. And you will see today that in the Central Asian session with Stefan Robinson of FAO, they are now trying to clean up all the stuff. And they could be one of the first Central Asian countries to clean it up. That's an achievement. Then we went to Kiev, 2013. We were standing nearly in front of the revolution with the flags around our forum. And then we went to Zaragoza, started the Life Discovered project, and really you see how Aragon has been moving forward with all the investigation. And in the end, you see, we are here. Now, what have we been doing? First thing we looked in the Netherlands was the HCH problem, which also took in the Netherlands 10, 15 years to clean it up. And what we did also is the link to Bilbao and Basque Country to see how they went forward. And what we can see in this period, in these forums, the regions, they had the problem and they were fighting for it. And then the countries too. You could also see that the EU has done something. They looked at the pesticides. They acknowledge also that there is a lack of rules and that remediation means the only way to clean these sites. You see the photos of Basque countries. This is Romania. It's just a mess. It's the same one. What we did is actually very fast. We made an inventory just on our own and asked all around, but it was very difficult to get. And in 2006, we made a report, The Legacy of Lindane, the isomer production. And this report we put forward to the Secretary of the Stockholm Convention, say, look, this must be in the POPs Convention. Otherwise, we cannot work. So this one was accepted in 2009 and gave us the legal framework to start working on this issue. That's the only way we can do it. And this was also a reason that why actually we had this whole fight that we got in January 2020, first project, EU-funded project, to make an inventory of the Lindane production sites. And also, we had here also a plan for 6 regions to clean up. So we really came forward in the last years. Now, who has been involved? There are many more than here, but just to mention a couple of ones here. The Lindane legacy. Ines Ayala Sender, Pilar Ayuso, they started to give the right push with the proposal, and that proposal went on the table and created this project, HCH, very important. And then we had people in our workshop in November 2021, some strong people. Martin Hojsek, strong, he knew exactly what was happening in Slovakia. Margreta Auken, you saw Isabel, and also Cesar Luena has been really fighting to move our issue forward. Oh, it's too far. So here we see now, again, I'm just changing all the time between obsolete pesticides and Lindane, that we tried to push the Central Eastern problematics, and we saw that in 2003, the Jeff approached us in the forum in Kiev, where the Jeff said, this is a living network. This whole forum are living, and they're not sitting and looking, they're all working and communicating with each other. And that's what we need. That is what the Jeff needs. So there we start to work with our partners. We had a long-term cooperation with Milieucontact International. They are doing awareness and really getting civil society involved. Green Cross were also active. We worked already with them. And at the same time, we had to find a UN partner, because of the JEF, you cannot work without a UN partner. And FAO came. And FAO helped us to set up a program. And this was a fantastic program. It was a training program, 4 years in the region, capacity building, awareness, and do tests how to move forward. This was a basic project and was very successfully rated, this cooperation by the JEF. And we also produced a small book, a political book, which is called The Time Bomb, and this was translated by the countries. We didn't do anything, we produced it, and then Georgia said, we want to translate it. Then Uzbekistan said, we want to translate it. And you see how people start to be involved, to be part of this. They wanted to act, and that's what it's all about. You do the job, we facilitate. Then we went on with the obsolete pesticides. We had a hearing in the European Parliament with Ria Ome and Esther de Lange. And this led actually to the next project, which was important. And then we had in 2016 a very nice session calling Black Spots to White Spots on agriculture. You see the spot on the right-hand side there. And this led actually to a big project called Improving Capacity to Eliminate and Prevent Occurrence of Obsolete Pesticides as a model for tackling unused chemicals in the former Soviet Union. 4 years works, huge project with a lot of also cleanups, actions, but our association concentrated specifically on finding a strategy how we can move the Central Asian countries moving forward. And we found a strategy how to do that. We produce it for every country, a strategy, but also a regional strategy. That is what Central Asia needs. We have now incidental projects, but that's not enough. You need a long-term strategy to freeze these countries and move forward. And that's what's lacking. Here still again some politicians here, Mr. Kutz, who made a huge book, 2,000 books spent around with all the problems of obsolete pesticides. Dan Jurgensen now has been climate minister in Denmark, but he has been pushing in Ukraine, helping us to move forward. Esther de Lange again with Ria Ome, Margaret Auken, Benedict Jabber, and Jordi Sebastian. We had a lot of committed politicians with helping us. Again, we get back to the HCH, and you see this up and down political game, how things working and how regions are moving. And Aragon said, hey, come to us, hello, hello, hello. So we came, and they brought us into the project, and here we could see what Aragon has been doing already 4 years, 2013 to 2017, with a very nice and successful project, a forum, but also the visit to the site. So I would tell you, it's really good at the 4th day to join, to go to this site and see the circumstances. But also if you ask Jesus, the biology which is already going on there, what's happening there in this site. This is a garden for HCH and Lindane solutions. And then of course the most important thing and the smallest project is LindaNet. Cooperation of regions in Europe which are confronted with the LindaNet problem. Here, Aragon took the lead and is the front runner to really say, okay, let's get together. And there you see now slowly crystallizing some ways of that we have to do more, and also, next to the technical way, find some political ways to move forward, as our previous speakers have been expressing very clearly. So here you see again, on the Linden legacy here, the LindaNet project, you see the regions, Aragon, Galicia, South Bohemia, Saxony-Anhalt, Silesia, Lazio. And the follow-up parallel here, also the HCH project, which I explained to you before, where we made the whole inventory with the task that the countries themselves going to follow up, which has not been done yet. And we made plans for 6 regions, actually ready for execution, so we could get going. So, what is the way forward? We are going to go. We're going to close down. we're going to retire. Bram and me, we're going to retire. Finish. So it's up to you now. We propose to get a network, a follow-up of IHPA. You have to do that. We leave all the things to you. You take it over and you move on with a strong association. You have technical know-how, you need it. You have that. You have everything. You know how to do it. And you need political commitment. We need you all. You have to fight like these politicians, but you have to do it yourself. And then it's going to work. But you have to do it. You cannot do without. Strategy for solution. In the HCA project, we have defined it, how to do it. How to work in the cities, how to set up, clean up organization, the whole stuff. We made like a recipe book for you. It's all there. What about the obsolete pesticides? Like I told you, we made here a strategy. The installment of so much capacity paid by the JEF to make the strategy, the structure there that you can clean up. So the old pesticides, you can do that in 5 to 10 years. And then, when that is cleaned up, you have the capacity standing to tackle all your present hazardous waste. That's the way to do it also in Central Asia. So here, the JEF should not do only individual projects. A strategy long-term to get this region to clean up. That's the way, Mark, in your retirement, that's your task. And we go together to the commission, but we're going to do it. So, this is up to you. You take the legacy in your hand, and you make something, and every year you report to me. What are you doing? Let me see some more. This was Mr. Kutz. Thank you very much. Thank you, Aragon.
Thank you for your words, John. So let's start the 14th session of this forum. We will wait for you in the different presentations. Thank you so much.